It was always the mission of this show for me to discover selfishly the things that would make me healthier, stronger, and live longer, and share them with the audience. Really, I'm not a guru. I'm not a thought leader. I'm not an influencer. I'm a selfish SOB trying to live the best life I can. That's always been the mission. And I figured if I had a show, I could interview doctors and scientists and get the answers I wanted. And that really was the whole scheme that the first interview started with. And it's still true today. And I don't want to influence you to spend money. I want you to be influenced to take steps that clearly have legitimate science behind them that can improve the quality of your life. Really, that's it. Am I going to live forever? I know there's guys out there saying they're going to live to be 180 because of a vitamin they take. That's all bullshit. But what I do want is I want to be fully engaged in life 100% till the day that I do die. I don't want to end up in a facility facing the wall, waiting for someone to bring me my pudding and change the channel on the TV on the wall. I want to be active. I want to be living life. I want to be squeezing every single drop out of life. And I hope that's your mission too. With that being said, we're going to talk about a topic today that I thought was complete bullshit years ago. Really, I did. The whole thing about grounding, go stand outside. My friend Billy Mitchell wakes up in the morning, goes outside and urinates he lives on a big farm. He's barefoot and he urinates and he says, I'm grounding. But I thought, when you take a shower, you're grounding. You really are. That water coming into your house is passing through a metallic pipe somewhere, whether it's miles away or it's in a metallic tower, and that metallic tower is in the earth, and that's grounding. And I did something on YouTube, on Instagram several years ago, where I took a voltometer into the shower and put one end in the ground side of an electrical outlet and the other one in the stream, and it went to ground. I was like, see, you're grounding in the morning. But the problem is that's not long enough. We evolved probably up until about 40,000 years ago. We evolved with a intimate relationship with the earth. We were exposed to the radio frequencies and magnetic variable frequencies that come out of the earth. This is different than the stuff that your cell phone puts out. Man-made frequencies are very different than the Schumann resonance. Those electromagnetic fields, they influenced us in our evolution, just the same way the sun influenced us in evolution. Well, guess what else influenced us? The ability to share electrons with the earth. Electrons could pass freely when you're standing on the ground or sitting on the ground, which you did all day long 40, 50,000 years ago. But they can't pass freely from the earth to you when you're wearing rubber sole sneakers, you're sitting in an office that's 10 feet off the ground and has all this other stuff. And so we literally, if you think of the passage of electrons like water, right? Running water, a stream, you can drink from a stream. Running water is good unless someone's urinating upstream from you. If we can think of the electrons like water, running water is good. It's healthy. You can drink from it. Stagnant water is a puddle, right? Mosquitoes lay their larvae in it. It stinks. You wouldn't drink from a puddle in the street, but you drink from a running stream. If you get up very, very high up top, you can skim the water and you can drink that. I want you to think about electrons the same way you think of running water. If these electrons are not being shared back into the earth and new electrons being shared with the earth to you, you're literally an electronic puddle. The electrons in your body are stagnant. But once you start grounding, everything changes. And I got to tell you, I said this before, I thought grounding was bullshit until I started sleeping grounding. The very first night I slept grounded, I couldn't believe it, how well I sleep. You all know I track my sleep. I've never gotten into the level of deep sleep that I get into now. I look forward to going to bed at night because I feel like I'm doing something therapeutic. And that's the magic of grounding while you sleep. We all wish there was something we could do. That's why we gravitate towards supplements, because you don't have to put any effort into taking a pill, but they don't work. But there's if you are asleep and you're sleeping grounded, your body is repairing in a way that it never did before you slept grounded. We're going to talk about the science today. We're going to talk about all the things that are good. John Baxter has put together an amazing presentation because she's actually at an event in California presenting the science behind grounding. And we're going to be lucky enough to get that presentation. But if I can convince you of anything, it's to try this. It will change your life. And the longer you do it, the better you get. Pain, blood circulation, deep sleep. You recover faster from workouts. It's insane. And I know, like, I've always been against the magic bullet type stuff. But if there is such a thing as a magic bullet, it's probably this. And there's plenty of science behind it. Energy medicine is real, but most people ignore it because they think it's bullshit, like I thought. So I'm trying to convince you to at least take a look at this and get in as inexpensively as you can initially. But I'll tell you right now, when you cover your bed with the grounding cover and have a grounding pillowcase, it's a game changer. You'll never sleep like that again unless you stay grounded. Let me thank, first of all, my title sponsor who literally keeps this show alive, and that's Legendary Foods. Ron Penna and the folks over there believe in this show, and they have fully invested in this show. I wouldn't be doing this show anymore if it wasn't for them. So if this show gives you anything, always patronize the sponsors. shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the code SHR10. Check out their sweet rolls. They are indulgent, but they will help you stay on your eating plan. Less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high quality protein, 5 grams of net carbs, cinnamon flavored chocolate, wild berry, unbelievable. And while you're there, also pick up their tasty pastry, which was the answer to the Pop-Tart. Your kids will love these. Oh my God. Send them to school with them in their lunchbox. All their friends will be jealous, and you'll know, and I'll know, that they're not eating crappy sugar products. shrnetwork.biz/legendary, code SHR10. The flavors are unbelievable. Less than 1 gram of sugar, 5 net carbs, 20 grams of high quality protein. Check them out. By buying them using that code, you not only get a 10% discount, but you let them know that Superhuman Radio sent you to their website. And without further delay, John Baxter has made time today to talk to us. He's very busy in California. Hi, John. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Carl? Thank you for the introduction. And here I'm doing introductions, like you said, on grounding. People are taking it seriously because the technology of the past, when they consider grounding, is way different than the current, right now, state of grounding. And it took me 6 years to create the technology that can actually truly ground you. So it's never really truly broken the ice. I believe we've done it with creating the first stretchable conductive fabric. That's the reason why so many people worldwide have benefited from this, including yourself.
So let's elaborate on that for a second. So let me show you the quality of this product. First of all, I've heard people say, I'm afraid to sleep grounded because I'm afraid something will come up. Like, in other words, the grounding sheets are taking stuff away, if you will, but they're delivering a ground. So first of all, there is is it a capacitor or a resistor?
A resistor.
There's a resistor in line that with the cord that plugs into the ground side of the electrical outlet. It's kind of like a traffic cop. Stuff can only go one way. So nothing can come up into, if lightning strikes outside your house, nothing is going to come up that wire into your bed. Is that correct?
Think of the resistor as a shed. It sheds off what was commonly known. It's proven. It's a myth that's been debunked. Our resistor sheds off any type of high intrusion of ions, electrons through it. So if it's an explosion of electrons through it, the resistor pops. And not only does that, it acts like the canal. It acts like a canal, and and it only allows so many to go through. So the thing with things of the past, dirty electricity, it's debunked with our product. The resistor saves you in case of anything. I didn't want to create a product that would have an issue, so that's why we put that in there, and that's why it took so long to create.
Now, the other thing I want to mention is that there are cheap, and I'm using that word specifically, cheap grounding sheets and cases out there. What they use is they use a silver, very, very thin silver wire throughout, and the wire is laced in lengthwise. And if you're a big guy like me and you lay on it, you have the ability to snap the wire. And over time, more and more of these wires snap, and it just stops working. And people don't know why. They like, man, I used to get such good night's sleep. It doesn't work. Well, what John has done is, for those of you old enough to remember the old telephones with the long cords that would allow you, the phone was on the wall, you could walk across the room with it. What he's done is he created coils of silver wire that take flexing, that take stretching without breaking. But remember, this is silver. It's a lot cheaper to put a single monofilament of silver than a coil of silver, probably 5 times the amount of silver used in that coil than there is. Am I off base on that?
Yeah, you're pretty accurate. Like in a king bed cover that we offer, you're talking 10 to 12 ounces of silver alone. That's why it's heavy. So yeah, we've coiled it just like you're saying, and that creates the elasticity. So prior art had it as just one thread straight across. Literally, the first time you used it, the fraying of the thread would cause it not to work. So that's why a lot of people didn't really take grounding too seriously. I spent 22 years in the mattress industry, and that's the only way I was able to create this, because of dedication to the art of this technology. So yeah, we tried everything for 6 years. Sometimes people said it was impossible, but what you see out there a lot of times is a recalled product. It's literally a recalled product that China continues to sell. Ours is made in North Carolina. As an innovator in the mattress industry, I had all the connections, and literally what we have, China can't even make. They have no idea. We use a 4-step process to even make our grounding technology. China doesn't understand it. I found Spider-Man in the U.S. that can spider web this all together.
Right.
Literally.
And lastly, for the ladies out there who probably are responsible for most of the laundry detail in a home, you could wash them. That's been something like the first thing Elisa said, well, can you wash them? Because the idea of sleeping on the same. Yes. And you can cover them with a cotton fitted sheet, so you don't have to sleep directly on it for it to work, as long as it's not polyester or some other plastic type of material that creates a dielectric barrier. As long as it's natural cotton, probably even wool, I would imagine, if it would
Wool's
work,
good, right? As well.
Yeah, that you don't have to sleep directly on the grounding mattress cover, which I did for the first few nights, and then I put a fitted sheet over it, and it still works fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, so many reviews and testimonials worldwide, people getting so many of the inflammation issues coincide with other illness, right? So one of them is just you get relaxation, a stronger immune system from the relaxation you get, the stress relief, less cortisol levels, or some of the stuff we could talk about today. But also, it's simple, effective. You're not having to take a pill per se. You just go to bed and you're getting these electrons right from the earth for free.
One of the claims about and some of the science is recover from exercise, because exercise recovery depends on the immune system, and it depends on the healing. Muscle tissue has to heal. And there was one study I read that showed that individuals with type 2 diabetes who had difficulty with wound healing in their feet, the wounds healed faster when they slept grounded. And I can attest to this. I don't have diabetes, but I somehow I ripped a piece of skin down right above the ankle on the Achilles tendon. And it's also where, when I get in my inversion table, that's literally the area of the ankle that gets stretched. So it wouldn't heal. It wouldn't heal. Every time a scab would form, I would knock it off, either doing seated leg curls at the gym, which hit the pad right there. Hurt like a son of a gun too. Or when I did inversion, it would tear the scab off. And so when you tear the scab off of something over and over again, it turns into like a crater. The wound turns into a crater. There's this proud edge around it where every attempt to scab failed, and then it's like a hole. And I was putting antibiotic cream on. I was putting all sorts of stuff. Do you know it's gone just from sleeping in that in the grounded environment? Elisa said it to me. She goes, "Wow, it looks like it's going away." And now keep in mind, I still hit it when I do leg curls. I still hit it twice a day when I hang in the inversion table. But the power of the grounding really did affect the healing of a wound for me. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's trapped. A lot of times it's trapped static in the body. I broke my neck, my pain to purpose story. I was very selfish in creating this product to heal myself. I can say I healed myself from a broken neck 15 years earlier. So I lived with the chronic pain and I couldn't sleep. And once, I did everything. I did the supplements, the exercise, nutrition, sleep at a high level to try to figure out myself. And one of the culprits that helped me heal near the end was the grounding technology. So that's why we've added this 4-in-1 technology in grounding. This is a major improvement because it's hitting circulation with the far infrared, and also you're getting the grounding combined. That's why we call it the anti-aging bed. These are just safe, effective technologies where, you're not taking a big risk at all. Literally, you're just, if you could stand outside barefoot on the ground, you could ask the doctor if you can do that. But really, if you can't stand barefoot outside on the ground, then what else can you do in this world?
Well, and it's also about the time spent. Going out and standing barefoot is novel and it's cool, but it's not enough time in the grounded world to then go back into the ungrounded world. You're spending 70% of your time ungrounded, and then you sleep. And if you're sleeping grounded, you're getting ahead of the game. There's no doubt about it. Also, one other thing I notice, I can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and feel completely rested. Before, I would want to go back to sleep until 7, but I would force myself to get out of bed and go down and do cardio. So the reality is, I feel like when you start sleeping grounded, you'll find that you need less sleep. And I looked on the internet for people. Everybody said the same thing. I feel like I need less sleep when I sleep grounded. What is that phenomenon from? Because greater deep sleep?
Yeah, it's happened to me too, right? So usually I only need like 5 hours of sleep, or sometimes 4, 6 is really good. I live a demanding lifestyle, but as I can testify on how it works, literally that extra, like what I see is close to 4 hours. When we were standing barefoot on the ground, maybe half an hour most. But the 4 hours, you get a full charge, and the circulation of our blood is carrying these electrons as well. So you want the circulation to occur multiple times grounded. That way it can saturate all the way down into areas of stagnation. For me, it was between my shoulder blades with the injury to my neck. It was tight, just super, super tight. So the longer you're grounded and the circulation is occurring, the more of the static that's being pulled out in the damaged areas of the body.
Interesting. Why don't we roll right into the presentation? You have a very, very good presentation to do. I'm going to put it up now. I'm going to move this off. And there we go.
Yeah, so we've been talking about the electron deficiency, electron donation, grounding, earthing. Now, when we take supplements, and that was the first way that people kind of totally understood antioxidants, and if you ingest antioxidants, but realize an antioxidant, the definition means electron donor. So we're talking something very similar. We're balancing and harmonizing the body and the cells in the body through simply grounding to the earth. So electron deficiency is like you're living with if you were a cell phone, a fully charged cell phone versus a cell phone that's just barely running, right? Most people lived in the inflammation state, and grounding was one of the things that we're always supposed to have that connection with Earth. All of our electrical gadgets are grounded typically, because if they're not grounded, they're overheating, autoimmune, these types of issues, or they're breaking, disease. The motherboard gets fried, and we know that through our computers it says keep static away from the
Mm-hmm.
computer. So we're supposed to be grounded, otherwise we overheat and we break down. And it's very simple, and for whatever reason, the advancements of technology have brought us here today. And so earthing and grounding is just a way that you could help reduce some of the chronic diseases, pain, insomnia, um, all types of cortisol levels, or some. You're reducing your stress at a high level, and because of the technology, you can maximize yourself in the comfort of your home. So I talked about grounding. It's our natural connection to the earth. It's the electron exchange. So when you're connected to the electrically conductive bed cover, there's a series of events that are going on in your physiology. One, you're discharging yourself of the voltage, the excessive voltage, which creates heat. A lot of people say they sleep hot. Really, it's because they have an inflammation problem. They don't need a cooling system unless their temperature in the room is too high. So the electron exchange that's going on is a discharging the voltage in their body. And not only that, when you're grounded, any damaged cell that's missing an electron gets an electron antioxidant. So it's simple, effective, as a therapeutic. It's a simple, effective therapeutic that you can use in your home. Of course, you can always get that for free by standing barefoot outside. So, like I said, we're like a battery. We're supposed to be grounded and getting a full charge. We want our circulation to be driving all these electron antioxidants throughout the body, including your heel and your Achilles heel, where for whatever reason, it just needed to be saturated with these electrons to remove the static out of the body. And so some of the symptoms of electron deficiency is the fatigue, anxiety, inflammation. And that's the key to everything, or most things in health, is reducing your inflammation. So the number one thing that's targeted is inflammation. And by way of your own health, that means better sleep, a relaxed immune system, less stress, and can even go into so many other things. We had veterans, recon Marines that had PTSD their whole life. They had just amazing results, tears coming out, because some of these guys couldn't sleep for 2 decades because of the trauma they ensued. They were constantly in the state of fight or flight, and they were just worried about getting shot every day. So that reduction in stress can now, a lot of these people are sleeping finally, because what they really needed was to be resetted. They really needed their immune system to relax. They needed their cortisol level to be dropped, and they really just needed some sleep finally to reset it. So the electron deficiency can contribute to assisting with such things as heart disease, cancers, and even diabetes on some level. You can get more electrons from eating more antioxidants, exercising, get the blood flow going, like I was saying. The electron diet is not only the grounding technology, it's also taking the eating nutrient dense foods that have the electrons in the actual food. Being outdoors is important. So there's actually 5 simple, understandable for you at home, ways that this technology is working. Reduced inflammation, number 1. Improved sleep, that's where you regenerate. Enhanced immunity through dropping your cortisol level. A reduction in pain, because the circulation in your blood transmitting electron antioxidants to your body, it reduces the stress in the body. And the other one is it's improving your electron deficiency. It wasn't your option. This is just the modern world. We just didn't understand it. So you're assessing, which most people have an electron deficiency, and this is the simple way to take that on.
I want to throw something in here.
Yes.
So cortisol is negatively associated with insulin sensitivity. So people who have high cortisol levels at night tend to produce a lot more insulin at night, and they also end up being more insulin insensitive or insulin resistant, which leads to type 2 diabetes. So we know that this technology reduces cortisol while you sleep. There are people that are taking phosphatidylserine. They're taking all sorts of supplements before bed because they know they have high cortisol levels and they want to reduce them. You don't need to take anything. You just need to get in bed and stay there for 4 to 8 hours a night. That's it. Just want to throw that in.
Yeah, and that's one of the things here is some of the science is that what you're saying, the sleep is causing you to reduce the cortisol level. So we've talked about
one last thing. If you have tinnitus, if you have ringing ears, and you get up in the middle of the night to go pee-pee and you notice that your ears are just ringing horribly, and by the time you wake up, they're not ringing as bad, and the rest of the day they don't ring, but they only tend to ring at night when you're asleep. It's because you have high insulin levels. Insulin causes blood vessels to constrict through angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE. So if you're one of these people who produces a ridiculous amount of cortisol at night and subsequently a lot of insulin at night, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night with your ears ringing. You're not going to understand why. The next morning, they may be hissing and then it goes away. It's because you have high cortisol, ergo high insulin at night, and it's causing the microfibers in your ears, the nerves, to be choked off of blood, and that's what's causing the ringing. You get rid of that cortisol at night, you get rid of that elevated insulin at night, and all of a sudden your ears don't ring anymore. That's it. I want to throw that in there.
Oh, I love that. Learn something new all the time. That's one of the ways it works, right? So that was great. And free radical theory is we talked about a lot of people that talk about the main issue with aging is simply the number one theory. Usually, it's a lot of people say is the free radical theory of how we age.
That theory was postulated by Dr. Aubrey de Grey. He was on this show probably 10, 11 years ago. But yeah, he's the fellow who authored the free radical theory of aging, and it's held up for a long time.
Yeah, and the beauty of like what we have is a lot of guys talked about it, and I'm not sure if they have anything that they can really show, but we actually show we actually have a technology that goes to assist in that theory, and I believe in this theory because it's the simplest theory of why we eat and why we ground. So if we can reduce the damage in the cell, this technology goes right towards that theory.
And there's companies out there selling C60. It's a very, very powerful antioxidant. It's called Buckminster fullerene. It's very, very expensive. You've got to take it every single day. It's very expensive, based on the premise that they gave Buckminster fullerene to rodents that should have only lasted 2 years, and they were still alive after 2 years, so they had to end the study. And so basically what the C60 people came up with is if you take C60 every single day, it'll extend your life. Why? Because C60 is such a powerful antioxidant that it quenches free radicals in the whole body. Sleep in this bed for 8 hours a night. You're going to get better results than taking C60. This is it. This is it.
Yeah, it'll give you a lot of people get a wow factor. Of course, you had one, and if you're deficient in electrons, and all of a sudden you try the bed, that's the wow factor. You've got an ocean of antioxidants running through your veins, and finally you get fully charged. And that goes right into the blood flow, number 3. We talked about the Rouleau effect of not having enough antioxidants or electrons in our blood. What happened is they search for an electron and they share an electron and they stack like a roll of quarters. And that's not improving your health at all, because each blood cell needs to carry oxygen, nutrients to every part of your body. When they're stacked, it's taking how many ever blood cells and making it one blood cell, because they're sharing an electron. So what you have is blood viscosity. The blood repels itself. The cells in the blood repel. They're balanced negatively and positively, so they're not clinging to each other. And we saw this in COVID with people's lungs, blood clotting in the lungs, and all this. We've had a lot of people say that this thing saved their life when they're at their last breath with COVID and blood clotting. So improved blood flow in the sense of being grounded means that you're getting a harmony in your cells, a balance throughout your body. And when you're fully charged, you actually sense this going on.
And for those of you who are watching this and thinking this sounds way too good to be true, there's lots of science out there. If you go to, if you Google the words grounding, humans, NIH, for National Institutes of Health, you'll see every grounding study come up, and you can read them, and they're astonishing. And one of the things that happened to me when I started looking at the research, there's such a large body of evidence that grounding is beneficial to people, and you wonder, why am I only hearing it on these podcasts? Why isn't my doctor aware of this? Why doesn't my doctor know about this? Why doesn't the mainstream medical orthodoxy promote this harmless, beneficial technology? And I asked the same question. I want to put this up real quick because people are tuning in and tuning out. If you want to learn more about what they have to offer at Anti-Aging Bed, which is the name of the company, you could either scan the QR code on video right now, or you can go to shrnetwork.biz/wellness-solutions, use SHR to take a 5% discount off of everything at their website. If you can't afford a lot, get a pillowcase at least for you and your significant partner, because that will give you a preview of what it would feel like to sleep in a completely grounded bed. Again, shrnetwork.biz/wellness-solutions. SHR is the code, or scan the QR code on your screen right now. Folks, I'm telling you to get this. I don't tell people to get a lot of things. I don't say, oh, you got to get this. This is a game changer. This is something that will literally, you'll feel it the first night you sleep with it. And I know a lot of very intelligent people who have been using grounding for a long time, and I didn't get on board, and now I feel foolish. It took me so long to get on board with this. I could have been so much further ahead of the game health-wise had I started using it 10 years ago when Ron Penna was telling me about grounding. So anyway, good. I'm sorry.
Like I said, a lot of we've taken the charge. We're actually in the lead of this grounding technology. Yeah, there was prior art, but realize the technology that we created took 6 years. The other technology didn't take long to create. It wasn't really thought through. So you're not only getting it one night, you're getting it the next night. You're getting it for more than a couple years with one technology, not just one night or a week. So the beauty of it is that we found that most people with Fitbits, Oura Rings, the people monitoring their health, we have our own sleep study coming out, and I think it's done. It's already been third party peer review study by the number one guy in sleep science out there, Dr. Francisco. And what we've seen is a 15 to 21% increase in deep sleep the first night. So it's relevant here. Some of the studies that have been done over the last 20 years, they show huge numbers of improvements. Sleep quality, 79%, muscle pain, 74%, a reduction in stress level, 68%, better immune system, 57%. So yeah, it sounds like, wow, this is great. Can you believe the science? there's so much. There's quite a bit of science out there on this, and more science is coming out. We're leading the charge in a lot of the new studies coming out. So here are some of the studies that you can find on the NIH, including grounding. We talked about the blood viscosity in cardiovascular disease. It improves. Some of the measurements and cortisol levels dropped, and these are significant studies that can help anyone at you at home. We all have issues. And then just the major review and studies of the findings of grounding, it's a complement. It just shows that it's a complementary therapeutic that should be taken advantage of.
I want to throw something in here about the cortisol reduction. So I have used melatonin for over 20 years, and I have used progressively larger and smaller doses. I experiment. But one of the things that melatonin is well known to do is to reduce cortisol production at night. And so I had been taking 15 milligrams of melatonin every night, probably for the past 3 years. And I noticed I was waking up in the morning and I felt so groggy. I would say to Elisa, I feel drunk. And I started to experiment. I started thinking, I wonder if I'm taking too much melatonin. And now it makes sense. So I back down. I'm taking 3 milligrams now. I probably can go down to 1.5 milligrams, but I'm waking up feeling better because the cortisol reduction between the grounding sheets and the large, extra large doses of melatonin will keeping my cortisol from rising appropriately first thing in the morning. It just dawned on me. I just realized why am I able to sleep with 3 milligrams of melatonin all of a sudden? Before I wouldn't. I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's because the dual reduction in cortisol between the grounding sheet and too large of a dose of melatonin was causing a hangover in the morning. And so you can actually back down on your dose of melatonin, watch, and you can still sleep just as good.
Nice. That's great. Basically, it is fascinating. That is fascinating. We're all researching ourselves, and
right.
if you ask anyone in the medical industry if they know the body, well, they only know what someone typically told them or made them study. Otherwise, they're not independent researchers. And you'll find stuff like this all around. You as an individual is the most important aspect of your own health. I mean, you're in charge of your own health, and so
N equals 1. I'm an N equal 1 experiment. That's what I am.
Love it. So we talked about a lot of this stuff already. Number one product we have is a bed cover. It fits around your current mattress. You can get the grounding technology, and there it is. So we have bed covers, we have the anti-aging mattress, we have the biohack mattress, we've got the pillowcases, we got the blankets, we got the throw blanket.
Let's talk about the blanket. Can you back up for a second? So I don't use the blanket right now because it's not cold enough, let's say, yet. But could I take the blanket to a hotel room and sleep on it, put it down on the fitted sheet and sleep on it?
Yeah, it's the most versatile thing we have right now. So yeah, you can use it in the comfort of your own home, the living room, in the kitchen, watching TV, go travel. It's an easy one to take. But the bed cover is the same way for your mattress. It's travel oriented. That bag that you saw, you can take it on the road with you. So, but this is pretty versatile. Yeah. So you can sleep with it, and it's a little bit more affordable than the bed cover.
Right.
And so that's about it. We talked about how we're different. We're the only patented technology currently in grounding. The other ones were recalled or let go that the other guy had, Clint Ober. But ours is different because it's durable, breathable, washable. It adds the power of far infrared, the combination between the grounding and the far infrared. That's how we came up with the name anti-aging bed. It offers EMF dissipation, and it has the silver thread in it, which including bacteria, microbes, germs, viruses. Silver gives these types of things a mechanical death. Just the same premise as colloidal silver.
Right. Right. Yeah. They used to use the reason that wealthy people had silver drinking mugs is because it purified the water when you put dirty water in it. They could drink it. Yeah. It's fascinating. All right. So let's do this. Let's put this up one more time. I'm convinced that everybody should be sleeping with something that keeps them grounded throughout the night. I don't care if it's just a pillowcase or get the throw and sleep under it. Make that your cover. Go to shrnetwork.biz/wellness-solutions or scan the QR code on the screen. Use the code SHR to save 5% off. This is one of those products that will change your life. There are very few products that we talk about on this show that actually will change your life. And you'll know it right away. You'll sleep on it the first night. Here's what's going to happen the first night. You're going to sleep on it, and you're going to wake up a couple hours earlier than you normally do, but you're not going to be tired. You're going to be like, what just happened? Like, why am I waking up at 5 a.m.? I usually sleep to 7. Or why am I waking up 4 a.m.? I usually sleep to 6. And you're going to wake up and you're going to be wide awake, but not that wide awake like when you wake up in the middle of the night inappropriately and you're trying to debate whether to go back to sleep or not. You're going to be like, wow, I feel rested. And the next night, that'll happen for 2 nights, my experience. Around the third night, you'll sleep right through. But the body will be shocked, so to speak, that it's so well rested and it's not even paying attention to the internal clock. It's like, oh, it's like, you know when you plug your cell phone in and it gives you that optimized battery charge thing. It tells you that your battery is charged, but you're not ready to unplug it. It's the same exact phenomenon. It's like your physical battery is recharged, but you're really not ready to get out of bed yet. And you can go back to sleep if you want to. I told John the story around the third night. I woke up and I literally felt like I was being sucked back into sleep. Like my whole body was so heavy, it just went back to sleep. But you're going to notice some changes in sleep patterns. Don't freak out. Don't think it's bad. Kind of go with it. Give your body a good week to be accustomed to greater deep sleep, longer periods of deep sleep, vivid dreams. My dreams are very vivid when I sleep with the grounding sheet bed cover. It's a game changer. Everybody should look. Like I said, if all you can justify spending right now, and I know times are tough for everybody, but this is something that will make dealing with day-to-day life so much better. Just get the pillowcase. You'll be sold. You'll want to get the other things too. I never thought about taking the throw downstairs when Elisa and I watch movies and using that instead of the little covers that we have down there. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell a lot of stories everywhere from Dr. Fab Mancini, one of the number one chiropractors in the world, to my own father. So if you're skeptical, my dad was wondering why I spent so many years of my life doing this. And when I first brought the product over for him to try, he slept in the same position for 12 hours, didn't even move. So he was like, I won't second guess you anymore in the sense that, I see why you did this. Now I really see why you did this. And so everyone has some type of sleep deprivation that they're unaware of. And so what you're saying here with the first night or two, it's pulling you back, you can sense finally your own, whatever you want to call it, backlog on necessary sleep. It's pulling you back because it's telling your body you need more. So You actually sense that. It's very strange, Carl. I don't know what you call that phenomenon. It happens to everyone. It happened to me too. It's like it's saying you don't really need to get up. Your body's not ready. You need more, and you can sense for the first time that sleep deficit that you were needing. I think
you're living with that, and that's why. And I gave up caffeine, ironically, at the same time that I started sleeping with this, and it was pretty effortlessly. I mean, I don't need a shot of coffee first thing in the morning anymore. I just don't. I gotta pay some other bills. I don't know if people realize this, but we've reduced the number of sponsors in this show, and that's really thanks to Legendary Foods. And so we only have a few sponsors now, so I've gotten away from the pre-recorded spots, but I do want to pay homage to a couple people. Sheath Underwear for Men, they have a separate pouch and pocket for the twig and berries. They allow a man to wear underwear but feel like he's not. It's a great pair of underwear. They have a money-back guarantee. shrnetwork.biz/sheath. Use the code SUPERHUMAN to save, I think it's 20% off. There you go. Visionary Pet Foods, no carbs. Your dog does not need carbohydrates. They need fat and protein to survive and live a long, healthy life. Go to shrnetwork.biz/visionarypet. Of course, my favorite place to buy protein, and that's White Oak Pastures, regenerative farming, no ractopamine used in their pork. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SUPERHUMAN for 15% off your first order. And lastly, Bioptimizer's new sleep breakthrough product. If nothing you do helps you with sleep, you got to give this a try. Go to shrnetwork.biz/sleep breakthrough. Use the code SHR10 for 10% off. I love it that I don't have to do all those commercials like I used to. I really do. It's great. It makes the show more enjoyable to listen to, I know, and it allows us to focus on sponsors like John, an anti-aging bed, who have things that we all need, and I just want to bring it to the forefront and let people talk about it. John, thanks for being here today, and thanks for being a sponsor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carl. Recognized all your hard work and passion, and this is a labor of love, what you've done with all the people getting the information out. No wonder, people like you can get censored pretty easily. But the situation is that this needs to get out in the hands of people, regardless of your position in the world. The thing is, no one deserves to live suffering in pain from their health issues. So that's the driver. That's the passion that we have. You can become a part of our team. We have so many ways that you can get the message out. We're sharing this with everyone.
Can people sign up to be affiliates? Let's say somebody buys the product and they think, man, this is the greatest thing in the world. I got to tell all my friends about it. Can they become affiliates?
They can. We call them, we don't like the name affiliate, but it's very similar. We call them ambassadors or partners. Mm-hmm. You can be a retailer of ours too. That's what I'm doing a show here. So we have the stair stepper of how we train you. I train. That's how passionate I am. I help train everyone in the podcast video area, and to get the message out. Like literally, this is as we have another podcast here, Carl. We brought this into the frequencies. I'm not going to spill the beans on how beautiful this thing is and why it's the future. I'm not afraid to say that this is the future, believe it or not. It's for me, it was God-given. So we pull this all together, and you'll see the next wave is the frequencies. You start here. This is a massive way to improve your health. Now, if you want to address something even more so, because it's conductive and grounding, we hook it in, and we can address over close to 2,000 health issues, including cancers, you name it. We have the technology to do so, hyperbaric chambers, a lot of stuff that we can cover in future podcasts, Carl.
Yeah, and we will. I want to do hyperbaric because it's important. We had a team from Israel that has an office in Florida showing how they were reversing long-haul COVID using pulsed hyperbaric oxygen, taking the levels up high, then dropping it down low. And they were charging a lot of money for people, and it was working. So that I'm very interested in hyperbaric oxygen. And, basically, John is in energy medicine. That's what they call this today, energy medicine. Using energy, whether it's from grounding, whether it's frequencies, and to help people live better and longer lives. All right, John, we'll see you soon again. Have fun in California, brother.
Thank you so much, Carl.